Hello, soul travelers. Welcome back to my channel where I share experiences and information that I have obtained to help you on your spiritual journey as I continue to grow on my own. So, let's get into it. Alright, so we've all heard that saying, everything spiritual is natural. Okay? Especially for those of us who grew up in Christianity or in church. What that really means, you guys, is that everything that is tangible and physical, that everything you see in front of you or experience in physical with your physical senses starts on the quantum field, or what you might call the spiritual realm, but the plane of things that we can't necessarily see. Okay, the physical plane, this plane, 3D, it moves slower than any other plane because it's the most dense. Okay, so you think about the emotional plane, you can feel that stuff, you can feel it, right? But you can't really like see it, but you can experience it. Your mental plane, you think the thoughts, but you can't really see it. So everything you can see and touch here in the 3D, it's more dense. So everything moves slower here than any other plane. So stuff starts in the quantum field or the quantum plane, and it moves down through the others, mental, emotional, and into the physical. But like I said, anything here takes longer to show up from the quantum level to the physical level. So anything you experience or witness here in 3D first happens on the quantum plane or spiritual plane. Okay. What inspired me to make this video is the other day in one of my groups, there was someone on one of my spiritual communities that made a post about a mental disorder called borderline personality disorder, and they were asking whether it can be overcome by doing spiritual work. And as a person who's being diagnosed with that, and I've mentioned that in my videos before, I was actually really glad someone asked this question. I've come to believe that spiritual work absolutely can overcome it. In fact, I believe it is the only solution to a major so-called mental disorder of this caliber. Okay. Now, I made a comment saying this much, of course, and there was a woman who replied to my comment. She says, well, doctors know that it's a physical condition in the brain, and it's permanent, and it can't be fixed. Okay? This is what I've been told all my life by doctors, articles, etc. Now, in my opinion, okay, these doctors think this because they're only looking at it from a physical and mental point of view. They're looking at the physical brain, how it looks like on a CAT scan or whatever, and they're assessing it from a psychological point of view. Now, while all of these physical, psychological, everything is tied to spiritual, they all work together. So but you cannot just look at one aspect, like in the physical and the mental, and not include the spiritual. But they're missing that key point in the medical field or from the psychological field from that standpoint. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, everything starts on the spiritual plane. And borderline personality disorder is just the way that this particular spiritual wounding, okay, manifests here in 3D. Okay, its physical 3D form is known as borderline personality disorder. So the only way to fix this is to go back to where it began. Okay, things like this, any kind of mental trauma, is rooted in the root chakra. Okay, where safety and survival and security lives. That's what the root chakra represents and houses. Okay, and anything in the root chakra is going to affect all the other chakras as they activate from the bottom up. The root being at the bottom, of course, like a tree. Hence why it's called the root. So the same applies, yes, y'all, to physical illness. Now, I know this one is a little bit harder for you to probably wrap your head around. Okay, but physical illnesses and sicknesses, even disabilities. Now, you may be asking, well, what about like genetic or disorders or things someone was born with? These are also created first on the spiritual plane, okay? When genetic disorders are passed, these are like ancestral or generational spiritual ailments that have manifested physically, and because those spiritual ailments or wounds have not been healed in the generations, it just keeps passing and manifesting in this way. Okay, this is why we talk about breaking generational curses and things like that. It's not just mental behavior. Okay, it also can manifest into physical disabilities and genetic disorders, things like that. Okay, so for example, okay, let's say a man and a woman are both broken and really wounded people, when they have a child. This may manifest in that child being born with a birth defect. It could also manifest in this child having these same mental disorders and things that they struggle with, but they may also be born with a birth defect, some sort of physical birth defect, depending on what's going on, okay? Or if either the parents have this genetic disorder caused by ancestral trauma also. As for sicknesses that run in the family, these are spiritual traumas that have been passed over and over, okay? Because this trauma has not been healed, like I was just saying. So like another example, let's say somebody develops diabetes. So it's not simply that this person just ate unhealthily, okay, and developed diabetes. And by the way, people say that diabetes runs in the family. I kind of think it's more of the eating habits run in the family. But on a deeper level, to take that deeper, there is first a spiritual wound, okay, or a spiritual hole, their emptiness, okay, that they're trying to fill it with food, unhealthy food, lots of fat, all that stuff is really good. It tastes really good. It stimulates the brain, just like a drug, okay? So they've been trying to fill it with unhealthy food, and so eventually that manifests into this physical illness, and then they pass this way of feeling this emptiness down to their kids, and so on and so on, and it continues to manifest into diabetes, okay? So the same goes for when we are manifesting abundance. We must realize that because earth is the most dense element. Earth is the most dense element, and the element of earth is in the 3D. Things take more time to show up here, okay? So it may seem impossible to heal like a physical illness or a mental illness through spiritual works, but it's absolutely true. The trick, and perhaps the hardest part of all is to rid yourself of your limiting beliefs that are based on what's in front of you and what you see now. And that's also our problem when it comes to manifesting abundance and things like that. So the spiritual plane is not limited by these physical so-called facts, okay, and hard evidence. If the issue starts, okay, on the quantum field, or if the dream, the manifestation starts, whether negative or positive, and manifests physically, then it can also, guys, be healed from the quantum field, from the spiritual plane, okay? And this is why I love saying that everything spiritual is natural, because every single thing in your life was first spiritual and is simultaneously spiritual, okay? It's the same as above, so below, okay? So these are just never separate, guys, but forever intertwined. A lot of times I will see in groups where somebody will ask, well, I saw this and that, or I saw this animal, or I saw this and that. What does that mean? And a lot of people, like unbelievably, a lot of people will get on there and comment, well, girl, not everything is a sign. Not everything is spiritual. Wrong. Everything absolutely is. Which brings me that I saw a meme quite a few times that was saying, not all toxic relationships are soul ties. Some of those are psychological issues that need to be addressed by psychiatrists, okay? The mistake that the person who made this meme, the mistake that they made was believing that the mental and the emotional and the physical are separate, okay? The spiritual, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual, the emotional, the mental, and the physical, the four levels, the planes, are all intertwined all the time, and everything starts on the spiritual plane and moves through the other planes, and they're all like intertwined, okay? So I really couldn't believe that. They're like, oh, that's not spiritual, it's not a spiritual problem, go to a psychiatrist. Like, first of all, it starts in the spirit. Psychological or mental and emotional comes next. It starts to manifest through the mental and through the emotional and then to the physical, right? Okay, so this is never separate. So I really just couldn't believe that I saw that. I was really disappointed by that, actually. So I want to actually recommend a book that I'm actually reading on this subject about all the planes and how they work and how they interact with each other. So I'm going to recommend that. I'm going to leave the link in the description box below so you can go and order it yourself if you would like. It's called A Radical Approach to the Akashic Records. I can't remember exactly how much it was. I think it was like $15. So A Radical Approach to the Akashic Records by Melissa Finch, and it really, really breaks down these planes and how we can heal from that level. Okay, that's a lot of information that I'm not going to leave in this video because it's just a lot, and it would just, and I'm not finished the book, and you know it could just get like long-winded, so I'm just going to leave that link so you guys can order the book for yourselves. Anyway, I hope you all get like what I'm saying. Okay, so you begin to heal and you begin to manifest anything you want. Again, the hardest part is just like looking past what's in front of you. Okay, because one of the lady that actually made that comment on that post that led to all this, she was like, well, I have this and that physical disability, and I was born like this, and it's genetic, and I can't do anything about it, you know. And I felt really sad for her. Now I don't have a physical disability, so I can imagine like what that is like, but I do know, and I do strongly believe that, you know, healing starts on the spiritual level. Okay, there's people can do amazing stuff, y'all. There's people that's walked again. There's people that's regained their sight, and so like stuff like that is real, especially like over in China, India. Is it because they're special? No, it's because they're a lot more in tune with this concept and with this energy, and they know that everything is connected, and so we can do it too, guys. But you might want to research that as well. Now, so while we're on the subject of healing, I actually am going to be working on a video about healing our inner child. It's going to be pretty detailed about some methods we can do that and why it's important. Again, that's going to be part of this series, which is my healing series, and I'm currently actually doing those things at this moment to work through my inner child. So when I feel that I'm making progress with that, I guess I want to say complete, because nothing's ever complete. This is a never-ending journey. I will be making that video and sharing it with you. Anyway, hope you found this video helpful. It's not going to be very long. As usual, my Facebook page, The Soul Traveler, is down in the description box below, as well as that link to that book I told you about, and you can join my page and you can message me on that page for your personal private tarot reading. I offer all kinds of readings: love and relationship readings, a current situation and advice reading, full life readings with the aspects of personal, home life, career, future, and love, and you know, I just do a whole bunch of kind of readings. So guys, hit me up if you're interested in that, and thank you for watching this video. Please share, please like, please subscribe. All right, soul travelers, see you at the next time.